Achoo! Moo? Boo! No, don't worry, I've not travelled through a creaky door, sneezed at all the dust before blowing a trumpet, confusing a cow and making the crowd angry. I only do that sort of thing on a Saturday. I was just playing Uproar, the very funny game of silly sounds from Macmillan. It's a super simple but incredibly fun play, suitable for anyone of any age at all, as long as you can read, match words, and most importantly, make amazing noises like surprised cat, meow, or bubbles, or twit twoo. Can you guess what that was? Yeah, that's right, a sad owl. Twit twoo. Oh wait, that wasn't me that time. I am a sad owl. Oh no, why are you sad? Because I'd like to have a go at funny noises too. Oh, okay, go on then. If you go to macmillan.fun and use the code CC4K, you'll get a fancy 10% off the brilliant Uproar game. What sound effect was that? Rubbish podcast host. Oh. As the sad owl, who is rubbish at sound effects, says, head to macmillan.fun and have a look at any of their brilliant, very funny games, including the wonderful Uproar. And if you're listening to this podcast, you can use the code CC4K to get a whole 10% off. Woohoo! I'm a happy owl now. You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast, suitable for all ages from 2 and everything in between.
No, it's not.
Shush you. Look, I'm very sorry, everyone. I'm having a bad hair day. My hair is being really, really bad.
I'm going to hide your keys.
Stop it. Have you ever had a bad hair day? Often people say, oh, I'm having a bad hair day, but then when you check, their hair's just a bit messy. No one really cares. Whereas I'm having a bad day because my hair is doing this.
I'm going to mess up the cutlery drawer so knives are where the spoons should be.
It's so bad. Stop being so bad, or I'm going to go get my hair cut.
Well, then I'll be free and out in the wild, and I'll make sure I attach myself to people's t-shirts so they get itchy, and then I'll make a cat sneeze.
Ugh, he's the worst. I think it's my fault for not washing my hair yesterday. Maybe I should wash it now, or get nits so that they really annoy it, or maybe just put so much hair wax in it that my head becomes a candle or a crayon and not hair at all.
Yeah, you just try it. It'll go in such a mess that people will point at you when you go outside and say, look at that messy hair.
Yeah, I mean, that's not that bad, is it, out of all the things you've said?
It will be that bad.
No, I doubt it. Well, I'm sure I've got a comb around here somewhere. I'll just need to comb the room to find it. Linda! Have you seen my comb, Linda? Linda! Wait, how can I comb the room to find it if I haven't got one? Oh, I need to brush up on my hair skills. Except I haven't got a brush either. Or I did, but all the farting geese made it into a nest. I know.
No fast moves or I'll go to the toilet and not flush afterwards.
Oh no, that is actually the worst. Oh, there it is. Ha ha ha! Take that!
Wait, I'll be good.
I found my hat. Yeah, that should help till I can find my comb. But before I do that, this is the very last week of our competition to win a game of Uproar, the very fun game of silly sounds from Macmillan. I've had 2 brilliant entries sent in this week. This one is from, I'm going to try and pronounce this properly, but it is a very tricky name. Mimanav Budget Mincham 5 Vihot Vasiviji Gohotik Tube 5 VP9 Jisigoi 5 Yasi Jivdi Jikti Ivajij. And they are also, I mean, I can't even work out this number. 1,321,334,342,435 turtle years old, which I believe is the same as being -4.5, but I could have my turtle year maths wrong there. So anyway, they have sent in their impression of noisy eating, and well, I mean, this is some very noisy eating indeed. Have a listen. Wow, I have no idea what you were eating then. I'll just call you Mumina Chivana for short. But, I mean, by the sounds of it, it could have been gravel or a car. I mean, I hope you had a side of vegetables, or that is going to be a very difficult poo the next day. Mimi Blah Blah also sent in this brilliant joke. Doctor, people think I'm invisible. Ah, a ghost! Brilliant. I love it. And also it makes me wonder what happens when ghosts go to the doctor, because that has to be pretty tricky, doesn't it? Especially if they say, like, can you look into the problem? And the doctor would have to say, well, I can't look into it as I can see right through you. It's very hard. And then we've also had these sounds from Sir Goose Bagel III, who sent in his impression of a whale song, which he somehow did despite being a goose. It's quite incredible.
Hello, and this is my impression for the entry of the competition. So this is my whale song impressions. A whale song, like a whale singing a song, is I'm a whale and I like singing songs. And a whale song, like one you would hear, is
Thank you so much, Sir Goose Bagel, for that fantastic impression of whale song. I particularly like the song that the whale sings, and I hope that will be released at some point, as there just aren't enough tunes out there by giant sea mammals. So, Sir Goose Bagel and Mumina Thingy Whatevers, you have both won a copy of Uproar, though you do need to get your blundering bouncy castle faces, grown-ups, to send me your postal address so that we can send you a game. Please do that, if obviously you have postal addresses being a goose or a what's it. So that still leaves a game to win for sending in a toddler tantrum impression and an impression of a saxophone. And the last competition is for an impression of a cowboy. So get your blundering bouncy castle faces to help you record those and send them into podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. And you could win a game too. Also, that email right there, the podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk one, that is there for you to send in any questions you might need answering on this show, any jokes you want to get me to read out, or any tips for dealing with bad hair days too. Shush hair. Don't forget as well, we're doing a Radio Nonsense Live at the South Bank Centre in London on October the 26th, so that's right in half term in England. Yes, I know lots of you aren't in London or even in England, so hopefully if this one goes well, we will try and do more live shows, hopefully nearer to you, like in your fridge or on your teacher's desk. I'm sure they won't mind. Anyway, your grown-ups can grab tickets to Radio Nonsense Live at southbankcentre.co.uk or in the link in the podcast blurb. And as you know, you can find all our other live Comedy Club for Kids shows with lots of the comedians you hear on these shows at comedyclubforkids.co.uk, and grab our t-shirts and book at comedyclubforkids.store. Oh, and also I've got one other thing to tell you this week. Shush, just shush, bad hair. If any of you watch the TV show Hey Dougie, I don't know how many of you out there watch it. Some of you might be a bit too old for that. But my first episode that I have written of Hey Dougie is on the BBC iPlayer this week and on CBeebies on Thursday the 15th of September at 7:05 a.m. And I wrote an episode called The Accessory Badge. So I hope you enjoy it. I was very, very excited that that's out there now and been brilliantly animated, and it is lots of fun. No, look, all right, I'm going to find a comb, or possibly just a bigger hat or knight's helmet, and while I do that, you all listen to this most importantest bit.
Your hair is the crowning glory and deserves the best of care.
Yes, on today's Radio Nonsense, it is the return of the magnificent Ada Campe, also known as Ada, who's twice been to Grenada, Ada, the 92nd Grand Most Waffleness, and as all of our friends who speak Japanese know her, Shirato ni Razaberi o Fuku Kanosho. But of course, all of our listeners will know you as the world's greatest knee singer, the mind behind the incredible machine that refuses to answer anything at all, and of course for winning a record-breaking 39 Emmys for your role as a penguin in David Attenborough's Back in the Waddle. Ada, it is a delight to have you back on the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so thrilled you've done your research. It's a treat to be back. How lovely. Hello, Tin, and how are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not as awake as I should be. I've only had 400 coffees this morning, and so not my usual 403, and so slightly tired.
I've had 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What size? Do you have? Those tiny little weenie coffees or those giant?
I have the
coffees?
weenie ones that are incredibly strong.
Wow.
Not the very huge ones that have no coffee in them at all and are just brown milk.
Yes, that's what I have. I have one giant coffee, but it's only got one dot of coffee in it, and then I have 400 of them. Normally 403.
See, that would just make me want to go to the toilet all the time.
It does, yeah, it does. But then
Yes.
that keeps me awake because I don't want to fall asleep and wee myself.
Oh, that's true. No, I have lots of little coffees, which store up and then make me go to the toilet all at once. It's very exciting.
Oh, that's very powerful. It's like sort of rocket fuel. Like
I
literally
like to
just
think
sort of
so.
expel
I don't want to
all
brag
at
about
once.
it, but I like to think so.
That is that's very exciting. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should sort of change. I'm always a bit scared to change things that are routines, like my routine of 403 coffees, but maybe I should.
Well, you could try, darling, and if it doesn't work, you don't have to tell anybody that it didn't work. You don't have to do it live on Instagram.
Don't I? Do you not have to
Or
do that?
do you do it live on Instagram?
As normally, I do everything live on Instagram. I basically sort of just leave Instagram on, and people see me brush my teeth. People see me sort of fart after dinner. It's all like live. Is that not what you meant to do with it?
Oh, I don't know. I just use Instagram for filming little doggies, and I found Stick Lady Love at the Latitude Festival. She'd struck out on her own last weekend.
Right.
Stick Man had finally made it home to the family tree and the Stick Children 3. I found Stick Lady Love with a small brown cape around her, obviously trying to find herself at Latitude Festival, and I filmed a bit of that for Instagram, but I haven't posted it yet. I didn't offer her coffee. That's a shame, really. I should have done that.
Hang on, can I just check? Because you often film small dogs, but you found Stick Lady Love.
Yes.
Does she get bothered by small dogs? Because I'd have thought if you're a stick, part of your problem is that small dogs are going to chase you all the time.
Well, I think, but if you're Stick Man, you see, you run around like an idiot. Okay, I can't get home to my tree. Why did he leave? There are many questions I have about that book. So he was running around drawing attention to himself, you see, going, chase me, chase me.
Yes.
Which is why, you see, where Stick Lady Love was wearing a cape and trying to find herself at a festival in the Zen area. So she wasn't really attracting any attention to herself. I really would have missed her had I not almost stumbled over her on my way to the coffee hut.
Right, yes. I mean, you make a good point there, actually, because dogs don't just sort of chase like sticks that are hanging on trees doing their own thing, do they? They only sort of go for sticks that are being thrown. So
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to give a lot of coffee to a dog for it to just go chasing branches, essentially, that are attached to
Yes.
trees.
I wouldn't give a dog a small coffee. I think that would be, because then it would just explode from one end. It would be awful, wouldn't it?
Do you think it would? Do you think it would explode?
Yeah, in a sort of dog poo flurry. Like, it would
wouldn't
have
want
too
that.
much energy, and at the other end would be dog poo flurry. It sounds awful.
It's a terrible idea. I take back everything I've just said about the dog and the coffee. Don't give coffee to dogs and make them think the branches are moving. That's very odd.
It's a terrible. But don't take back everything. I think your stick survival tactics are super. If we've got any sticks listening to the show, I think
That's true.
You're very right in that the tip is that they've just got to be kind of zen and chill, and that'll help them out.
And wear a cape.
Yes.
I mean, that's just good advice for life, really. Wear a cape.
Yeah. Would you recommend listeners who aren't sticks, if they've got trees near them, is it a good idea for them to put small capes on all of the sticks to help those sticks out?
I would say yes. I mean, I don't want to assume that every stick wants to wear a cape. But I think if you approach a stick with a cape and ask nicely, they can't really take offence at it, can they?
No, that's true. That's true, isn't it? Does it replace the leaves, or do you have leaves and a cape? Like, what's the kind of fashion?
Now, I would say more is more,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
you should have leaves and cape combo, if at all possible. But that's just me. That's just me.
I mean, I have to say, and if you were a stick, Ada, I would imagine that you'd be the most fabulous stick we'd ever seen, with a sort of
I would
headdress
try.
of leaves
I would
and a
absolutely
big
try.
cape. Yeah.
I'd want a bit of blossom. I'd try and cling on to my blossom for as
Yeah.
long as possible.
A few sort of sparkly bugs on the shoulders, or
Oh, a green bug, maybe. Or a lovely moth, a sort of interestingly coloured moth to tickle me up and down.
some of those moths look so furry that because you're not meant to. I think some of them might make you itchy or something. You're not meant to touch. There's warnings about certain moths. I don't know. Like,
Well, that's good. You should ask for consent before you start touching moths.
That's very true. That is very true. And so, but I think they do look like they could really tickle. Like, they'd be quite tickly. Is what I was going to
I
say.
think so. Yeah, especially if you were a stick.
Yes.
You'd be smaller, wouldn't you? Or you might be bigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some trees are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we've
true.
got quite philosophical now.
Have you ever, when I was little, we went to America, which is a small country in the ocean. I don't know if you heard of it. It's like a little tiny country. It's very pretty. And we went to America, and we went to where the big redwood trees are, and you could drive through one of the trees, which was just bonkers.
Through a tree?
Yeah.
And was the tree still alive?
Yeah, they just sort of made a little tunnel through it because it was so big. The
That's
tree didn't
cool.
even care. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, I think you could do sticks, moths, everything, capes, fairy lights, solar-powered bananas, whatever you like on that tree, just to add to the general gigantic ambience. We don't have that in South London. Not that I've found yet. I will say that. We've got a lot of squirrels and some parakeets, but I haven't seen any trees you can drive through. That's tremendous.
Well, but are you sure? Because there are places you can drive through and there are tunnels. Have you double-checked to make sure they aren't just massive trees?
I'll be honest with you, I have not double-checked that.
Right. Because there's a chance,
I didn't even check it once. I just assumed.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, I'm rubbish.
Wow.
I'm rubbish.
It's not like you, Ada. I'd expect of you to sort of check these sort of things. But
Oh, you see, no, it is a bit like me in real life. Sometimes I check things, other times I just assume them and push on through.
Wow. Well. I mean, maybe you should check. Have you ever gone through any of those tunnels and seen, for example, some squirrels having their tea, or some very confused woodlice, or any of those sort of things in the tunnel? Because then there are chances that you've driven through a tree instead.
Well, you see, I try and keep my eyes on the road when I'm driving through tunnels.
Yes.
So there is that part. So definitely no to the woodlice. But a lot of those tunnels are very full of grog and slime and scum and things. I think, actually, if a squirrel was having its tea in a tunnel like that, its tea would be covered in stuff that it wouldn't want in its tea. Unless it was a sort of goth squirrel, and it wanted dirty tea.
Yeah.
But it's quite a feat to go all the way to a tunnel, set up a tea tray, wait for enough carbon monoxide to pollute your water. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it. I'd just have a coffee.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great. And in fact, you've made me quite worry about the tree that you drive through, because there must be lots of creatures that are now like, hey, I wanted a nice tea and now I've got a grotty tea.
Yeah, see, I was with Comedy Club for Kids at the Latitude Festival very recently, and I got some lovely spring rolls from a beautiful Vietnamese stall. Lovely.
Oh, wow.
And there was so much dust flying around. The moment they give me my sauce for my lovely spring rolls, there was already dust and straw in the sauce.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't sold as sweet chili sauce with dust and straw. It came immediately. And that was at a festival. So I imagine in a tunnel, there must be so much stuff going into your liquids that you really have to want it to be there, I would say.
That's true. I mean, I suppose, though, that the nice thing at the festival is by adding dust and straw to your sweet chili sauce, that meant it was not only suitable if you wanted to eat it, but also if a horse wanted to eat it.
It's a very small horse.
Yeah, well, there are some really small ones, aren't there? Like really tiny.
But also it was proof against lying, because if I'd gone to somebody and said I was at Latitude Festival and I'd been lying, and they had been at Latitude Festival, they would have known that unless I was covered in dust and straw, I hadn't really been. Right. And so I could prove, therefore, that my spring rolls had come from Latitude Festival because they were covered in dust and straw. And I actually, before I could see a tiny horse, I munched them up. They were delicious. Yeah.
So how do you prove you've been there now if you've already eaten them?
Because my car is covered in dust and straw.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. I was worried. I thought the way you suggested you'd have to carry around those spring rolls for the rest of your life in order to prove that you'd been there.
Like little pets.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
It would be quite nice. They'd be little identical. They'd be like quintuplets.
I'd like to see a tiny leash on a small spring roll as you
It'd be
take
rather
it
lovely,
around.
wouldn't it? Maybe I could sort of Velcro them to a miniature skateboard and pull them around with me.
This is a delightful idea.
I regret eating them now.
I
Dang
remember you giving this show tips about putting googly eyes on fruit and veg. I believe was a tip a while ago.
Yes, I was just thinking of that.
This is an upgrade to now perhaps a small leash and a tiny skateboard on some spring rolls.
Yeah, I think it would be lovely actually to go out with spring roll chums.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
I'll have to wait till next year, go back and get some more. Then we'll try it, I promise. I'll take a photo if I remember.
Right, well, we'll maybe all the listeners to this, we can all bother you around that time.
Oh, please bother me.
Yeah.
and I'll remember to buy a tiny skateboard and some Velcro, and I'll take the spring rolls on a little dusty trip around Latitude Festival.
That is lovely. I think it's a wonderful idea, and I just should double check that spring rolls. I don't think you have to have them in spring. I'm pretty sure you can have them in other seasons as well.
Do you know what I saw yesterday, Tiernan? I went into my local Pound Land.
Oh yeah.
And they were selling Happy Easter bags.
What?
And now this is the summer.
Yeah, this is the summer, but they're selling. There isn't like another Easter, is there? Is there like a
Well, I was wondering that. Yes,
summer
well, maybe
Easter.
Easter was very late this year, and I missed it.
Well, maybe you could just because that's maybe they could have a sort of another one in the summer that had like ice cream eggs or something.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Easter Part 2,
Yeah.
the
Have a
cold
sequel.
version.
Yeah, I like because I always think there should be more than one pancake day because I like pancakes. And
Well, I like 4 pancakes on Pancake Day. You know, you could have as many. You don't have to have one, Tin, and you could have as many as you like.
Right, okay. Oh, I thought it was pancake day, not pancakes day.
No, it's Pancakes Day.
Oh my goodness.
If you're in my house, it's eat as much pancakes as you can and then fall over with a hurty tummy day and then still go back for more.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what I do though, because I realise that like a pancake is the size of a pan, but if you use like a bigger thing to make one in like a wok, you can make a wok cake and then it's massive.
You just said doo-doo.
Did I? Did I say doo-doo?
You said, I tell you what you can doo-doo. I thought we were not talking about any naughty words on this
It's not poo cake day. I'm not taking part in poo cake day.
Oh, that's
No,
fine. You said
that's horrible.
just doo-doo cake day.
Do
in a wok.
cake day in a wok. Just don't. If you're listening to the show, please don't do in a wok and make it into a cake because it will be disgusting and it's not what anyone wants. Don't do it.
Do it. No, don't do it.
Just do it.
Do it.
Oh wow!
And then cover it all in maple syrup.
Oh goodness! Wow, that is horrible. That is really horrible. But probably quite easy to do after 6 of those little coffees.
Yes, actually, surprisingly easy.
Yeah. Wow. Well, listen, Ada, it's such a delight to have you back on the show. I'm so pleased that you had time for us in between, your hay spring rolls, and your meeting sticks with capes on, and you've done the show a number of times now, so I'm aware that we've asked you this question before, but I do have to go through the admin because it's just something that has to happen. Them's the rules.
Sure,
I have made them, but I also don't make them. It's very complicated.
Okay. I understand.
But the first one that I have to ask you, which you have done before, is it's an audio podcast. Our listeners, as I say every time, they listen to it with their ears. They might listen to it with their knees or their bums. We don't discriminate. However they want to listen to it, that's fine.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, we're nice like that. And so I just wanted to double check if you had a favourite noise that you would like to make.
I just made that noise. I like to make that noise.
No, it's very
Not my favourite. I like to make it infrequently and at unexpected moments.
Wow.
You may hear it again.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's not my favourite noise. No.
Right. Okay. But it was quite a nice noise. I found it quite pleasing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of vaguely tuneful. As tuneful as a very short noise can be.
Yes. Well. Aside from that lovely noise that happened there, what's your other noise?
I'm making a noise. This might be a bit loud.
Okay. Wow! That was amazing. That was a brilliant noise.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. And is that because now to me that is not just a happy laugh. That's a victorious laugh.
Yes, very, very well picked up on you. I love that you appreciate the subtleties of that sound. It is victorious and occasionally vindictive.
But it's not villainous. It didn't sound villainous to me.
No, I'm going to have to work on that because I'm playing a villain in Panto later in the year, so I'll have to work on an evil laugh.
Oh, but no, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, no, you're not.
That's enough of that.
That's very good. That's very good. I should, because some of our listeners, so if our listeners are in the UK, they'll know what panto is, and our listeners who aren't in the UK, I should explain that panto's got nothing to do with pants. Has it? Maybe it does.
Well, I'll be wearing pants, I hope.
You'll be wearing pants, right? So there are some pants in it.
There will be pants in the show, maybe not on the show, but in show.
Yeah. But instead, it's like a brilliant, fun show where you have to say, "He's behind you!" and boo, and things like that.
stuff like that. And I'm going to be playing Queen Rat, which
Wow.
means I get a tail. I'm so excited about the tail.
Wow.
And I spoke to the people at the theatre and they said, Ada, do you think you can be evil? Because I'm such a lovely person. I mean, I'm a bit odd, but not in a horrid way normally. They said, can you be evil? And I said, I think all the evil will be in the tail. So I'm very excited about that.
That's amazing. And that's the laugh that Queen Rat is going to have.
Well, I'm working on it. If you think it's got potential.
Of course. It's great. It's really good. I love it. It's a fantastic laugh. I've always wanted like a really sort of maniacal laugh. Like, I've always wanted one of those. And I can't do that naturally. Like I have to,
You just did it naturally. You didn't do it artificially.
No, I'd sort of pretended to do it then. It wasn't really.
Maybe you need to encounter more enormous, sort of shocking or amusing things.
Yes, that's true. I think though I can only do that laugh if I've sort of created a device to destroy the world, like which I haven't done yet. I don't really want to, but I think the only way I could get that laugh. Do you know what I mean?
You've got a small child, haven't you? And climate change is an issue.
Yeah.
But that's a long game. You'd have to be maniacally laughing for a long time.
Yeah, it is quite tricky. That I'll have to think about it. I mean,
Do you do all your recycling correctly every week?
Oh. Do you know what? I think so, but it's quite confusing because there's lots and lots of different bins, and one of them's like for dry recycling, one of them's for wet recycling, one of them's for rubbish, one of them's for any sort of unwelcome strangers, one of them's for the people who put those leaflets through your door, one of them's for parakeets, one of them is for I think it's just for biscuits actually. There's lots, one's for unicycles, and so sometimes I get confused, and so what you're saying is I could. If I put something in the wrong bin, I can then go.
Start small, but make it regular. It's about forming habits. If you're going to do a habit, you have to do it regularly. So if you do at least one, every week when you're doing your multiple bins, then if you haven't got one wrong, you've got it just in case you got wrong in the past and didn't do any maniacal laughing then. You can just get used to the sound of it in your mouth. I think it sounds rather marvellous in your mouth.
I love it. I mean, do you know what? I think I'll start tomorrow. I'm going to put a unicycle in the dry recycling bin. I'm going to see.
Yeah, do it. And then do the laugh again. Do the laugh again. And then as you do that, I will sort of hear you somehow over the ether and I'll go,
that's wonderful. Well, if we could send it, there must be others, perhaps some of the listeners who've got brilliant sort of maniacal, but victorious, but slightly villainous laughs, and maybe we could kind of set off a chain. Great,
and put your whole body into it. I mean, the listeners can't see this, but when I do my big laugh, I put my arms out in both directions, and I really take up space in the room, and that adds to the whole sense of fun with the whole thing. You have to use your whole body when you're laughing. Or, I mean, you can do sneaky laughing, where you remain entirely still, but that isn't the sort of laughing we're talking about. I'm talking about big laughing. And have you got a gesture, Tina, for your maniacal laugh?
Oh, I don't know, but I feel like your gesture's pretty ultimate. Maybe I should need like a. So
I think you should be on tiptoes when you do yours, slightly off balance.
Maybe I should. Yes, that's good. Can I just ask though, because I feel like you can't give sort of teaser trailers like that and say sneaky laugh and then absolutely not give us one. Could I possibly get a sneaky laugh? Wow. Well, that was fantastic. And for listeners, I just want you to know that Ada remained completely and utterly still during that. I
didn't move a muscle. I didn't even blink. I was a statue with a sneaky laugh.
Well, I am honoured that we've had a preview of Queen Rat, and I'm very excited. Where are you doing? Where's your pantomime?
At the Theatre Chipping Norton, which is somewhere near Oxford in the Cotswolds.
Yes, and they do. I think they are always making chips there as well. I think that's right.
I hope so. I've got to spend 3 months there. I hope they're constantly making chips.
Yeah,
I should be constantly buying chips if that's the case.
Yes, well, I hope so too. Well, thank you for that. I mean, what a fantastic noise to have on this podcast. And the other thing that I have to ask you, of course, and again, this, you've been a regular guest on this show, but it's a family show. It's a show for people of all possible ages. Can you imagine an age, Ada?
Imagine an age?
Yeah, just can you imagine an age?
Yeah, I'm doing it now. I'm imagining an age.
Can I ask which one?
Neolithic.
Oh yeah, perfect. It's totally suitable for Neolithic age. Also, any sort of 0 to sort of 99, 100.
Oh, I see a number.
No,
You
no,
didn't
but
mean
also,
a period of time.
well, no, but also, were someone from the Neolithic age to listen into this podcast, I think it would be totally suitable for them as well, unless they were 100 years old. Long story, but if they were of any age from the Neolithic age, it's also suitable for them. It's suitable for any age, is what I'm saying. Apart from 100.
12 and a half.
Yep, absolutely suitable. 12 and a half. Yeah.
4.
Yep.
6.27.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
9-ish.
Yep. All of these.
Okay,
yeah.
great. I'm in.
Yeah, you're totally on board with this. And if all those ages were in Neolithic times, also, so it's totally. I'm just saying it's totally. So you weren't wrong, But
Are you saying I was
it's-
right?
Yeah, I'm saying you were right. Yeah. Yes, amazing. You absolutely. That was the correct response. But because it's suitable for all those ages, I just have to check if there are any rude words that you won't be saying. I have to check that this show is safe for all of those ages.
Well, there's one word I'm going to try not to say,
Okay.
but I've been saying it a lot recently,
Alright.
so I'm going to try not to say it.
Can-
But I've got to say it now,
Yeah. Well,
so that's making the whole thing worse.
Well, you don't. But you're going to only say it in order to tell us you won't be saying it. So if anything,
Okay.
it's- Yeah.
I'm not going to say the word snake hips.
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Don't. Wow. Don't
Yep.
say snake hips. No.
I will not. I won't. I'm desperate to, but I shan't.
Yeah. Well, don't say. I mean, not least because I think it's quite unfair to snakes who don't have hips. And if they're listening to the show, they'll just feel jealous. They'll just feel like I can't
That's it. I
wiggle.
don't want to upset any fictional snakes who might feel jealous.
Well, exactly. So I think it's very important that we don't mention it, and also the complaints would just be horrendous. So, I'm pleased.
They
I'm going
would.
to say snake
Yes.
hips. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, they would be horrendous. Yeah.
Really horrendous.
Like it doesn't
really.
bear thinking about.
No, absolutely not. I'm not even going to. So, thank you for not saying snake hips. I won't say snake hips, and therefore we know this podcast
Great.
is safe for everyone from the Neolithic age onwards. So,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, listen. The reason I've asked you back is as you know, we get sent in questions by our listeners, and we've had this question in, and you are the expert that I need for this, really, because it's a big one. It's a big question. I don't know even where to begin. And this question is from John the Chip. I don't know if John is from Chipping Norton. Possibly. Might
Possibly.
be. Yeah.
Lovely. Hi, John the Chip.
Yeah, he's a single chip. I also don't know. Assuming potato chip may also be a wood chip. We don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. Didn't specify.
Well, that little cup from Beauty and the Beast. That's good chip, isn't it?
Oh, crikey. This could be a celebrity
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, this could be Chip's real name is John.
John the Chip.
Chip is a stage name.
Do you know, I didn't even think about that. I'm honoured. I'm honoured
Yeah.
that... Wow,
That's what I
John the
immediately
Chip.
assumed when reading this.
So pleased you listened to that. And, let us know if any of the other members of the Beauty and the Beast group do listen in. If Belle listens, that would be very exciting. What's the candle? Is it Gus?
Lumiere.
Lumiere, that's it. Lumiere's. So just John, I'm very grateful you've written in, but do you let us know if any of the rest of the group want to write in. So this is from John the Chip, who says they are aged 47 and a half mouldy strawberries. Yeah, which is quite an age really to be confusing time, but yeah. It's the half that really does it for me, and it's good. I'm very pleased they've been very specific, and at that age, obviously, when you're 47 and a half mouldy strawberries, you've got some important questions, and John would like to know, and I hope you're sort of sitting very comfortably for this, Andy, because it's a big question. It's going to require some.
I'm
big
slightly on a
thinking.
wonk. Is that all right?
No. Well, I'm worried you're going to fall off.
I won't fall off. I'm teetering.
Okay, well, it's a big question. Are you ready?
It's good for my core.
But you put the apple down, and are you ready? Because my worry is this is such a big question that if you're not fully sort of steady and ready for it, it's gonna.
Oh, just get on with it.
All
Get
right,
on with
okay,
it.
all right. From John the Chip, age 47 and a half, mouldy strawberries. Ada, how many farts would it take to fill up a hot air balloon?
Well, John the Chip, age 47 and a half, multi strawberries. It depends how long you want to fill it up for. But I would say one long one.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're really
Wow.
going for it.
Yeah. What you've brought up there is he didn't say fill it up to the top, fill it up so it floats.
Yeah, or fill it up enough to carry on a journey. He just
Yeah.
said fill it up.
That's true, isn't it?
That's the thing. When you're a teacup, you haven't really thought about these things fully.
Yeah.
No shade to teacups. I mean, a bit of shade to teacups.
Well,
I think one, but a
One
good
long
one, a
one.
big one, a long, long fart. One of those ones where it feels very satisfying and where you can actively feel that your stomach's gone down afterwards. One of those.
Right, and would that be sufficient to perhaps float you away in your hot air balloon? Do you think then, or is that just enough to fill it at a certain amount?
Well, I don't know. You see, if I had enough delicious fresh bread, made from the right sort of bakery, and then I assumed a suitably farty position, I feel confident that I could at least fill up a hot air balloon to teeter off the grass.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get it all the way up in the air, but I could certainly fill up the balloon. And then I just might need to eat more bread, I think, and just have a second thought. But I'm not going to say anything daft, like 972. I think you start with one, but you make it a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's very fair. I'm just sort of curious because, like, if you think of it, was it Phineas Fogg who travelled around the world in a hot air balloon, 80 days around the world? I remember the cartoon with a lion in it. The listeners will be far too young to remember this.
He made tortilla chips as well, didn't he? I love those.
Yes, they were really. Well, I mean, I suppose you travel around the world, you're going to learn how to make great tortilla chips. It does make sense.
They should do MasterChef in a hot air balloon. I'd watch that.
Yeah, well, also because this is what I was going to ask. If you're on a long journey, you got to keep refueling. But I suppose if there was MasterChef, you could keep making very farty, windy foods.
Yeah, just take a bread oven up with you.
Yeah,
and just because gluten, I don't know what. When I was young, I could have as much gluten as I liked, and it made no difference to my windy areas. Now, I eat a lot of gluten, and I fart like a trooper.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what's happened.
I don't even really know what gluten is. I'm assuming it's made of glue, maybe 10 glues. I
think this is what gluten sounds like. As it goes into my stomach and builds up the fart molecules.
Yeah. It is. But that's interesting because I suppose once you farted it out, you become gluten free.
Yeah, I suppose so. And then the hot air balloon becomes gluten full.
Yes. Well, this is what I also want to check is, because hot air balloons deflate after a while. Do they just sort of, would you then get covered in stinky farts as you were letting the hot air balloon down?
Well, doesn't hot air rise? That's the point, isn't it? That's the whole point of it going up. So I don't know if it keeps rising or if it escapes from the balloon, or if the fart gets cold and then descends upon you like a sort of farty fog.
Yeah.
And that would be horrid. Because then that would have turned to liquid and you'd have fart liquid on you.
Oh,
and it left you as a gas. So that would be awful. And then you'd have lakes of fart. And this whole thing is a disaster.
Well, and also you'd be arriving in a new world where you've just arrived in your hot air balloon and you'd step out of your hot air balloon little basket covered in liquid farts.
Yeah, and you'd have to pretend it was a new perfume. That it really was an eau de toilette or whatever it is. Yeah, you'd have to say, in my place where I come from, you'd say, we all smell like this and it's terribly fashionable. And you'd have to lie. So people would secretly think they'd smell of poo. But you'd go, no, this is very fashionable where I come from. We all smell of poo. And then just hope that the poo smell sort of left you as you went around your day.
Wow. It's what's interesting is, John the Chips just asked about a fart, but there's a lot of issues around. It's not just filling up the hot air balloon with fart. It is also the impression you're making on a whole different land. It's you may be starting a perfume trend. There's a lot that can happen because of this.
Are there ways you can make your farts smell nice, artificially or otherwise, before they leave your body? I know you can spray a room and make the room smell of farts and perfume.
Yeah.
But is there a way of? Could you perhaps spray perfume on your bottom, so when you fart, mind you, no, because it would sting. That's not the thing at all. You'd have to wear perfumed pants, knickers. But then that would diffuse the gas, and then you wouldn't get up in the air balloon at all. You'd just be lying there in perfumed pants on the ground, farting, which frankly is not an adventure at all.
What about a sort of perfumed, like sort of horn or trumpet that you could fart through?
A perfumed trumpet
you
could fart through? Now this is suddenly beginning to make sense to
Right,
me.
yeah. And then you'd have nice smelling fart that powered the hot air balloon. And then when you landed, everything would smell of roses.
Roses specifically?
Well, no, I was just thinking of the first nice smell, but it could. I suppose you probably get different flavoured scented fart trumpets.
Yes, like they do with vapes, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you could smell of different things. You could arrive somewhere and go, hello, where I come from, we all smell of blueberries, which would be a
Yes.
huge lie, but they wouldn't know. Then you go to another place and you go, hello, where I come from, we all smell of lavender, for example.
Yes.
Or new shoes, or something like that.
New shoes is a great smell.
Yeah,
That
it's
is a
lovely.
great smell.
Or
Yeah.
plastic. I love the smell of new plastic. I know it's very bad for the environment. You're like a new beach ball or something. You stick your
Yes.
nose in that. Oh, love
That
it.
is very good.
Love it.
Those are very good smells. Very good. I just forgot. But you've reminded me. Yeah, I just forgot about the smell of new shoes and just how you go, oh, they smell lovely. Then you put your feet in them and ruin it. Just
Yeah.
ruin it in seconds. Wow. Well, I mean, I feel like we've developed, because hot air balloons have kind of just been hot air balloons for a long time now. No one's really kind of updated them or modernised them.
Do they have Bluetooth?
I don't know if they do. I don't know if they do. I don't think they have Wi-Fi. I don't even think they have a buffet cart, actually. You know?
God, that's mad, isn't it? It's ironic that they don't have Wi-Fi because they're in the air, surrounded by everybody else's Wi-Fi. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I don't think they have toilets. I think you just have to go over the edge, don't you? I think it's just,
Yeah, that's the other side of the eating all the bread section.
Yes. Yeah. So, there are... But I think, what you're saying here is really, if we had a whole MasterChef / bread oven on a hot air balloon, we've got a new way to fill it up, which isn't using gas or whatever it is that they normally burn. I mean, it is using gas, but it's not using gas. It's using...
Natural gas.
Natural gas, that's it. You essentially created an environmentally friendly new form of flight.
I used to live somewhere. I'm not going to say where, because I want to be mysterious. But there was a pipe coming out of the ground that had gas coming out of it all the time, and it was methane gas. So it smelled of poo constantly. And there was a little flame on top of it. And every time you drove past or walked past that area, the entire area smelled of poo.
Wow.
And I thought that was a very odd place to put an enormous sort of candle full of gas. But thinking about that now, you could just do that, but with your bottom attached to a hot air balloon.
Yes.
I think it would work. I tell you what, I can't guarantee it would work, but I'd definitely be up for giving it a go if I had a nice enough baguette.
Yes. Well, I hope you find a nice. I hope you find a hot air balloon as well. I think that this is obviously you've got
stumble over a
Panto
hot
coming
air
up,
balloon.
but then after Panto and between the spring roll walking, I suppose it'd be something to do.
There's a little hot air balloon I could slip my buttocks into the entrance of and munch a baguette or some sourdough or even a crumpet these days.
Oh my goodness.
Fart luxuriously into the hot air balloon and then just gently rise above the ground and see what was beneath me. It would be quite an enchanting afternoon, I think.
It sounds magical. I'll be honest. It
It
sounds
does.
magical.
Thank you, John the Chip.
Yeah, it's a lovely. I mean, John the Chip has created a really lovely, wonderful image, and I think possibly a life goal for you as well in our.
I don't know if I go that far.
Sure.
I think goal applies pressure on me.
Sure. Yes, that's true.
It's certainly
You
a
do need
life.
some pressure though, otherwise it won't.
What's one down from a goal?
Something to do?
A life something to do.
A life something to do.
This is definitely on the life something to do list.
Yes. there
I'll
you
say
go.
that now. I'm very happy to say that openly to you on this podcast. This is on the life something to do list now. Hooray!
Wow. Well, I'm so excited. Well, thank you for answering. Firstly, thank you for answering John's question. John the Chip, our famous celebrity question asker. Thank you for writing in, and I hope that they're happy with your answer. And I mean, really should be, because it was brilliant.
I've done my best. That's all I can do.
Well, it's always wonderful. It's so lovely to have you on the show. And have you got much to do for the rest of your week? Have you got more sort of straw to eat in sauces?
Quite possibly. I'm off to another festival. I'm off to three more festivals
Oh,
in the
my
next
goodness.
week.
Wow.
One is in Suffolk
Right.
at the Museum of Food, so I'm hoping there'll be food.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah.
Although it might be elderly food.
It might be
if it's
really
the
old
Museum of
food. Yeah.
Maybe it's just
Historical
food you can look at. That's fine. Then I'm off to a deer shed festival, which is happening presumably in a deer shed, so I presume there'll be more straw in that. Mm-hmm. And I'm off to Edinburgh, to the Edinburgh Festival, where there'll be Scottish dust and straw. So really, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to.
Well, there's the Fringe there, which I think is just hair, isn't it? I think it's just full of people with hair.
I think it is, yeah. I had a jacket with a fringe, and that that was sort of dangly, glittery bits. So maybe the Edinburgh Fringe is entirely dangly, glittery bits. And I actually, the prospect of that is thrilling.
Well, it sounds very exciting. Hopefully there'll be some sticks there in capes, and you can just I hope you have a wonderful time.
I mean, one pushes through, with an optimistic eye to the future, and you never know what you might stumble across. Very exciting. Thank you so much, Tiernan.
Thanks for coming back.
Choosing a becoming hairstyle for you is the nearest thing to instant beauty.
Hooray! It was so great to have the fantastic Ada Campe back on the show, and I do hope, John the Chip, that you are happy with the answer to your question. And if not, may I suggest that you write any complaints onto a goat and then leave it near a troll, and I'll never have to see them. Thanks. Ada is going to be playing Queen Rat in Dick Whittington, the panto at the Theatre Chipping Norton, from the 16th of November all the way through to the new year. So if you're in that neck of the woods, leave the woods because you're annoying the squirrels, and go and see Ada at the theatre instead. And if you have a question that needs answering, you want to send in an entry to the Uproar competition, we've got 3 more to give away. You have a joke that you want to tell me or anything else at all, then please get your blundering bouncy castle faces, I'm sorry, grown-ups, to help you. Email me at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. And you can grab tickets to Radio Nonsense Live at the South Bank Centre on October 26th, which you can get at southbankcentre.co.uk. Come see our other Comedy Club for Kids shows, which you can find at comedyclubforkids.co.uk. And grab a Stinky Hippo or Linda t-shirt at comedyclubforkids.store. Linda, have you got a Linda t-shirt, Linda? Yes, sorry, my bad hair day. Look, I hadn't forgotten about that. I found my comb. One of the farting rhinos was using it as a fake moustache, which was very annoying. Anyway, I think I've got this. I just need to take my hat off.
You can't stop me. I'm going to be so bad that I'll push in front of someone when waiting for the bus.
Oh, yeah? Well, take this. Comb!
No, help!
No, hello. There you go, all neat and tidy now. Well, thank you. I'm very good hair now. No more being bad. No, I'm off to help an old lady cross the road and then do some charity work. Oh, that's great. How nice. Hang on, off? No, wait, don't go. I don't want to be bald. Toodle pip. Oh, no. Well, that backfired. Guess I'm going to have to put my hat back on then. Ugh. Bye. You have been listening to
Comedy Club for Kids presents.
Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. It's the end.